sure can't hurt. Well, nobody's interested in learning but the teacher. Segregation, determination, demonstration, integration, aggravation, humiliation, obligation to our nation.
Good morning. Welcome to Detroit Wants to Know. The United States Supreme Court just upheld the ban on affirmative action. And my friends, let me tell you, I am upset that people are just gnashing their teeth. Oh no, the Supreme Court upheld Michigan's ban on affirmative action. What are we going to do? Let me tell you what you're going to do. You're going to force your children to achieve. You're going to help them achieve. Stop gnashing your teeth about what somebody did. Nobody's going to give you anything. You women, you minorities, nobody's going to give you a thing. When we come back, I've got two awesome women that are providing a solution. This is Detroit Wants to Know. Come back. It's about education.
Opportunity. It doesn't stare you in the face. It's not going to yell at you to come and get it. It doesn't knock. So what does opportunity look like? Not what you might think. You see, opportunity is not a right. It's definitely not equal. And it doesn't come with an instruction manual. That's because opportunity isn't found. It's molded, it's built, it's created. It's as much about grit as it is intellect. An explosive high-tech corridor located at the intersection of muscle and brains? You bet. Because opportunity only comes to those already in the game. What does opportunity look like? It looks like Detroit. Opportunity made in Detroit.
Detroit Wants to Know is sponsored by the AFPD, the voice of independent retailers.
This is the ER you've been asking for. Spacious, with private exam areas and room for family. With DMC's 29-minute ER guarantee and Cardio Team 1, the all-new DMC Sinai Grace Emergency Department.
Welcome back to Detroit Wants to Know. I promised you solutions, women that are providing solutions to this whole mess of African-American youth achievement and youth achievement in general. My first guest is Sheila McBride of GradeCheck.net. Sheila, welcome to Detroit Wants to Know.
Thank you for having me.
How are you helping to solve this problem? There's no affirmative action. What are you doing to boost student achievement?
We're making our students aware of the academic requirements that are set for getting into college, as well as if they're a student athlete, those academic requirements are oftentimes higher than what the school is requiring them to have in order to play a sport. Therefore, it's not benefiting our kids any. So we have to put our kids in a situation to where they're striving to achieve a higher GPA and take better courses so that they can stay in the runnings.
Okay, this GradeCheck.net was born out of your son's experience
Yes.
at Creighton University. Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, how the NCAA eligibility came about, my son's father was the first Division I college athlete who admitted to the world that he was functionally illiterate.
Your son's father?
My son's father.
Okay.
And I was literally 18 at the time, 17 turning 18. And that really shook the world because we always knew that there were athletes being pushed through school based on their athletic abilities and not on their academic standings.
Okay. GradeCheck.net has four portals on its website.
Yes.
And you have one for students, which I can understand. That's where you
Yes.
go through the grade things. You have another one for parents, which you tell them what to look for and if their school is really performing.
Exactly.
But you have another one for educators. Tell me about that educator portal on your website.
Well, what GradeCheck also does is we're bridging a gap. We're filling in the gap that with the educators, the counselors oftentimes have a 1 to 700 ratio, 1 to 400 ratio of students that they have to track and help to get into college. And sometimes that could be a little bit much, especially if the counselors have more on their plate than they can handle, okay? So to have GradeCheck a part of the process, we can help get those kids, ready so that they can go to college. And that is what we do on a daily basis.
On a daily basis. Now, how do you help students? I saw you had ACT prep.
Yes, what we do, we take a student's high school transcript and compare it to any high school in the country against the NCAA eligibility academic requirements, okay? And so we give the students an academic roadmap of making sure that they're on track, taking the right courses, the right classes, they have the right GPA, and they have the right test score. And that's very critical, especially with the national test average for our African American students. It's a 17. And for our student athletes, oftentimes I'm seeing a 14, 15, 10, what have you.
In Detroit, it's what, 15, 16 average
Absolutely,
across.
absolutely, especially with the athletes. So it's important for our athletes to take that test more than one time and not just rely on their junior year to take the test, because that can really put them behind. So we're making them aware and helping the educators know that we're existing so that we can be a supplemental tool to help get those kids from high school into college.
Do you advocate children starting to take the ACT, SAT when they're in the 8th grade?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because what that's going to do is it will break down those barriers, and even if they don't have a good test, if they take it again and again, the NCAA will take the highest in each category, and what they call that a super score. But the NCAA also uses that in order to try to maximize a student's eligibility. And being able to receive an athletic scholarship, an academic scholarship, is just as important.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. That website address is gradecheck.net.
Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll go visit it. When we come back, it's Dr. Glenda Price of the DPS Foundation, Detroit Public Schools Foundation.
Being pushed out of bounds with poor credit, competition overcharging you, not paying enough for your trade, that's an intentional foul.
Flagrant too, they're out of here.
At Marolis, get great prices, more for your trade, and get finance.
Now that's a three-point play.
Start your winning drive with the Malibu at just $169 a month, a prime time player.
And easy credit approvals are a layup at Marolis Chevrolet in East Point. Stop in today.
We got your back.
Detroit Wants to Know is sponsored by the AFPD, the voice of independent retailers.
Mike's Fresh Market, Detroit's largest independent supermarket with the best prices, quality, and service. Enjoy our vast selection of fresh fruits and vegetables. Wide aisles lead you to our own in-house bakery and deli. Beef, pork, chicken, seafood, and much more. You can rest assured you will feed your family the freshest food in town. Whatever you need, you can find it here at Mike's Fresh Market. Mike's Fresh Market with 2 locations, Gratiot and 7 Mile and Livernois and 7 Mile. Better food, better prices. That's Mike's promise.
Imagine a state-of-the-art emergency department with private rooms and space for family right in your neighborhood. It's here, the all-new patient-friendly ER at DMC Sinai Grace. A new era for Detroit.
Welcome back to Detroit Wants to Know, and we're talking this week about solutions to the educational problem. Yes, the Supreme Court has upheld the ban on affirmative action in the state of Michigan. So what do? I've offered you in the last segment, GregCheck.net, and this segment, it's the DPS Foundation with Dr. Glenda Price. Dr. Glenda Price, welcome to Detroit Wants to Know.
Glad to be here.
What in the world is the DPS Foundation?
The Detroit Public Schools Foundation is an independent 501c3 entity that works on behalf of the children within the Detroit Public Schools. We see our role as providing value-added opportunities for students to learn and to grow. So we raise money and give grants so that we can expand those educational options that students have in the Detroit Public Schools.
Tell me about those value-added options.
Well, the value-added options might be something like a young student from the Ben Carson School last summer who went off to Brown University and was able to spend 4 weeks in a summer program there. Or a value-added opportunity might be the dancer who came from the Dance Theater of Harlem and spent a week at Cass Tech with that dance program. Another value-added opportunity might be young people who are working in the elementary grades who have an opportunity to go to the Ann Arbor Hands-On Museum. So it varies, and it is very focused on what the teachers and administrators in Detroit Public Schools believe will enhance the education for the students.
And thus, greater prepare them for college.
And greater prepare them for college. As you indicated, affirmative action isn't going to be their access to college, but excellence coming out of the public schools will be. And so that's what we're focused on. How do we prepare every young person to meet their full potential and to have a future?
How do people support the DPS Foundation, Detroit Public Schools Foundation?
Well, we always encourage individuals to go to our website at www.detroitpsfoundation.org, and they will see a donate button there. That's one of the ways that they can support us. But we have a number of other opportunities that they'll find on the website. We have, for instance, an upcoming camp drive in which we are raising dollars and materials to send kids to camp this summer. We have in June an upcoming opportunity for people to dine at a variety of local eating establishments, and a portion of their bill will come back to the DPS Foundation. And you'll find those on our website, all of those opportunities.
Okay. What is next for the DPS Foundation? Can you tell us some of those value addeds you're going to have down the road? Besides the camp, besides the dining?
Well, in the fall, another way individuals can help us, each year we have a roast and toast, which is a major fundraiser in which we identify an individual in the community who lends their celebrity, as it were, to us so that we can roast that individual. And we have not yet announced who that person is, and so I can't share that with you right now, but that will be coming up. But what we're trying to do is to support the Detroit Public Schools strategic plan. And in doing so, we are looking at additional opportunities in the arts and music, additional opportunities in athletics, looking at increased health opportunities for students. And we are always pleased when we have corporate supporters who have an interest in contributing to us so that we can fund those programs that the teachers identify.
All right, give us that website one more time.
www.detroitpsfoundation.org.
Dr. Glenda Price, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
All right.
You have heard two of the many solutions to getting our kids into college. Next, we go to the company whose predecessor made the Mystic Knights of the Sea possible. When we come back, we're going to Shinola.
Stress, depression, and severe mental illness can happen to anyone. Team Mental Health Services has been helping those struggling with these conditions in southeastern Michigan. Within 24 hours of reaching out to our team, members receive psychiatric evaluations and begin the necessary treatment for recovery.
Team is by far, from my estimation, a premier mental health service organization. We are addressing the basic needs and the mental health concerns of our consumers. We're able to provide 24-hour psychiatric care when needed.
Team Mental Health Services prides itself on going the extra mile for its members.
And it was towards the 6th court date. I finally stood up and said, I can handle this process the rest of the way. And it was all because of the motivation and encouragement I got from Team Mental Health staff.
Team Mental Health Services, because we care and you can.
Detroit Wants to Know is sponsored by the AFPD, the voice of independent retailers.
Welcome back to Detroit Wants to Know. We're in Midtown on Canfield Street. My friends, I'm bringing you to Shinola. You've heard a lot about them. They donated those big clocks to the city. They have bicycles, they have watches. But let's hear from the man himself, Jacques Panisse, president. Did I get it right?
For today, I'm president, Steve.
For today, you're president.
Yes, that's right.
Jacques, tell me about this. I walk in here, I see bikes in Midtown on
Sure.
Canfield
Sure.
Street. I see watches. What is Shinola? How did it get started?
Sure. Well, Shinola is an old shoe polish brand that dates back to the early 1900s. About 4 years ago, we had the idea to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. And we have a love and a passion for watches, love and a passion for bicycles, and we decided that we would bring those product categories from a manufacturing point of view back to the States. We were in the process of looking for a home for Shinola and happened to visit Detroit. And during that visit, we met some folks at the DEGC who said, listen, come back for a second meeting and we'd like to introduce you to some people. And we came back for that second meeting, and during that second meeting, we realized that the people of this city are really the heartbeat of the city. And the people of this city have a tenacity and a will that's undying. And because of the people here, we decided to call Detroit our home.
Well, I tell you, in Detroit, we love our watches. Tell me about your Shinola watches.
So our Shinola watches, we have 4 primary platforms today, Steve. We have the Runwell, which is our flagship model. That's actually the model that we rolled out with last March, about a year ago. We did 2,500 limited edition versions of the Runwell. That was our first kickoff campaign. We sold out of those watches in just 8 days. From there, we have the Brakeman, which is another one of our platforms. All of our watches are quartz.
Now, why do you call it a Brakeman?
Well, the Brakeman, there's a historical aspect to that name. Back in the day, there was a guy called a brakeman on the back of trains. Right. And so when we're naming our products, we look to name our products, and we look to give them some, with the name, we look to bring some heart and some soul into the products with that name and give it some meaning so that it has some meaning and some relevance to a past time, if you will.
Okay. Beyond watches, you sell bicycles.
Indeed. We do have 2 bicycles. We have the Runwell and then we have the Bixby. The Runwell is our 11-speed bicycle that you see right here. Has 11 gears, internal hub on the back. This bicycle is actually made over in Waterford, Wisconsin. The frame and the fork are manufactured in Waterford, Wisconsin. We try to make as much of this bike in the United States as we can. But bicycles, in a similar form to similar fashion to watches, you can't get all the components made in the United States today. So we do have to source some of our components from around the globe. What we hope to see, for example, with our assembly facility, traditionally what you've seen with assembly facilities in the world, around the world, is that you'll have cottage industries pop up around an assembly facility. And we hope to see that happen right here in Detroit, where one day we'll have someone making our watch hands here in Detroit. We'll have someone making our watch cases, our crowns, our buckles, etc., right here in Detroit.
Okay. Another thing we love in Detroit is our leather. Sure. And you have a lot of leather goods. I see everything from iPhone cases to portfolios and journals.
Indeed.
Tell me about that.
Indeed. So we formed a wonderful partnership with a company in Chicago called Horween, Horween Leather. And they're one of the oldest remaining tanneries in the United States today. They produce incredible quality, and because of their quality and because of the product that they are able to sell to us, we partnered with them and they supply us with our leather, which is brought into a factory actually in St. Genevieve, Missouri. And that's where all the leather is cut, sewn, and manufactured into the various products that you see here in the Shinola store today.
Okay. Well, also in the store, you have books of Detroit history.
Sure.
And I see some jean jackets and T-shirts with Shinola on them.
We call those curated goods.
Curated goods. Explain that concept.
Goods. So curated goods, the concept there is, we work with local makers, we work with other makers around the United States, folks who are making, these footballs that you see here in the store. Those are made over in New York by a small shop. You can see the shirts here. The shirts are sourced from various makers around the country. And what we do there is we highlight other makers. We highlight other craftspeople, people who are on a similar mission to Shinola to bring back industry to the United States and create jobs and produce high quality products. That's really what our curated goods are about.
Okay, we're going to go to break. When we come back, I want to talk about the location process and the job creation process in Detroit. Many people are afraid. You're not. We'll be right back, Jacques.
Thanks,
Ladies
Steve.
and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Detroit Wants to Know.
We fix hearts. We fix heads. We do eyes and ears, noses and throats. In fact, more children come to Children's Hospital than any other hospital in the state. Stop the headaches, stop the pain, fix the tummies, the ankles, the toes, and fingers.
Emergency? When it's your child, don't settle for less. Trust the pediatric ER experts at the Children's Hospital of Michigan at the DMC. The ER at Children's Hospital.
Always there, just for them.
Mike's Fresh Market, Detroit's largest independent supermarket with the best prices, quality, and service. Enjoy our vast selection of fresh fruits and vegetables. Wide aisles lead you to our own in-house bakery and deli. Beef, pork, chicken, seafood, and much more. You can rest assured you will feed your family the freshest food in town. Whatever you need, you can find it here at Mike's Fresh Market. Mike's Fresh Market with 2 locations, Gratiot and 7 Mile and Livernois and 7 Mile. Better food, better prices. That's Mike's promise.
Opportunity. It doesn't stare you in the face. It's not going to yell at you to come and get it. It doesn't knock. So what does opportunity look like? Not what you might think. You see, opportunity is not a right. It's definitely not equal. And it doesn't come with an instruction manual. That's because opportunity isn't found. It's molded, it's built, it's created. It's as much about grit as it is intellect. An explosive high-tech corridor located at the intersection of muscle and brains? You bet. Because opportunity only comes to those already in the game. What does opportunity look like? It looks like Detroit. Opportunity made in Detroit.
Detroit Wants to Know is sponsored by the AFPD, the voice of independent retailers.
ETX Closed Captioning is sponsored by the Detroit Seafood Market.
Welcome back to Detroit Wants to Know. We're coming to you from Shinola in Midtown on Canfield. My guest is its president, Jacques Panisse. Jacques, you talked about moving to Detroit. You talked about creating jobs. How hard was that process? We hear so much doom and gloom in Detroit. How hard was it actually to bring this to life?
Quite frankly, Steve, you know, how hard it was is a good question, because it really wasn't hard. The people, again, around this city and their willingness to help organizations like Shinola figure out and navigate Detroit made it easy. You know, there are obviously challenges that we faced, but overall, it was a very, very smooth process, and we're very fortunate to call Detroit our home because of those reasons.
So the nightmares we hear at the Board of Zoning Appeals and all that, that was not there?
We didn't have any issues on that front.
Okay. How many Detroiters do you actually employ here at Shinola?
At Shinola, we have in the neighborhood of about 175 Detroiters today. Okay. We're moving upwards of 300 total employees across the entire organization. Mm-hmm. We've just opened up our new leather factory here at the College for Creative Studies.
Really?
Right over 485 West Milwaukee.
Now, a leather factory, that means you're going to take the leather and you're going to design your iPad cases and your portfolios and all that?
Indeed, that will happen in time. What's going to happen in the beginning right now, Steve, is we'll be making our own leather straps.
Okay.
So we'll start by making leather straps there, and that will evolve into a small leather goods operation as well. We'll make some of our small leather goods here in Detroit.
People talk about the need for jobs out in the neighborhoods. We have a lot of unemployed people. Is there ever going to be a job training component where perhaps the people that do not have all the education can actually learn how to make these leather goods?
Sure, we're training people right now. In fact, this morning I was with about 26 new employees up at Shinola who are being trained to do just that. They're being trained to make small leather goods and leather watch straps as well.
Okay. Tell me this. The future of Shinola. You talked about cottage industries spreading around it. Do you ever hope to see a foundry that does bicycle frames, or are you still going to leave that out of state?
Absolutely. No, we would love to see, you know, everything happening right here in Detroit. We'd love to see, you know, a company who pops up who says we can make the tires for your bicycles, a company who can make the racks, the bells, the brakes, you name it. We would love to see that happen here in Detroit.
Okay. Give me your future outlook on Detroit. Are you bullish on it?
We think the outlook on Detroit is nothing but upwards, and we think it's just a positive trend that's happening here, and we believe in that positive trend. We're a very small part of it. You know, the way I look at Detroit, Steve, I look at Detroit as it's a 138 square mile tapestry. It's a big piece of canvas. And there's guys like Shinola, there's guys like Quicken, there's guys, gals like Veronica Scott at the Empowerment Plan. There's guys like Phil Cooley over at Pony Ride. There's sisters like the Drought Sisters, you know, who are all part of this big artistic or creative team, I would say, who's every single one of them are adding their own stroke to this giant tapestry. And I believe that in 10 to 15 years, we'll all look back and we will have created a masterpiece.
Okay.
And that masterpiece will be called Detroit.
The masterpiece will be Detroit.
Indeed.
Detroit as a tapestry, and it becomes a masterpiece. Well, I'm going to tell you, I weigh slightly less than 200 and whatever pounds. When I go to break, when I go out, I'm going to go out riding one of your bikes, and we're going to see if it can handle the weight of Steve Hood. We're going to see if the quality is there. But before I go, what are the hours of this wonderful store?
The hours of this store range based on the day, but from 9 to 6, or 9 to 7, 10 to 6, depending on the day, you can find us here. Okay. And we welcome people to come down and experience Shinola. We also welcome people to come tour our watch assembly and leather manufacturing facility as well.
Now, where is that?
At the College for Creative Studies, right in New Center.
Now, what time is that open?
On Fridays is when we do tours for the public. People can send an email to customerservice@shinola.com to set up tours of the factory.
Okay, I'm going for a ride. Do I really have to wear a helmet when I take that ride?
You do indeed.
All right.
We keep it safe around here.
Jacques, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to ride. So, the bikes can handle the weight of Steve Hood. The Mystic Knights of the Sea would be proud. Go ahead, buy a Shinola bike and get in shape. This is not a Harley. I should be on a Harley right now. Hit us on Detroit Wants to Know, our YouTube page. Hit me up on Facebook, and you can follow me on Twitter. And by the way, get out and ride. It's great cardiovascular exercise. And if you're fat, a Shinola bike will hold you. Have a great week.